Ding dong, the witch is finally dead. The season is over. We can talk about Halo and also She-Hulk coming to the UN more. Let's go, Bryan. Hit that thing. Coming to you from 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, in the heart of Uptown Whittier. Keeping up with the nerds, issue 98.
99.
99.
Just keep it.
Where am I? My name is Nick Valero.
This is Bryan.
This is Rene.
And welcome to the show.
It wouldn't be a standard Keeping Up with the Nerds issue
I didn't mess
Nick
up the
did
intro.
not mess up.
And kept it in.
It's not my fault. It's wordy. I blame the writer.
No, you know what? So we're remapping everything.
It's wordy.
It's so year 2 is right around the corner.
Right.
New intro, new trailer, new words for intro, shorter because you've recommended that, and yeah, I'm taking your advice for
Also,
once.
also taking out the word Whittier 5 times in a row.
So limited to like 2, maybe.
What Whittier?
Until we get recognized by someone in Whittier, we'll bring it back.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll consider it. We've got a pretty hefty episode for you guys today, so we're going to jump right straight into the topic. Yeah, Halo's finally freaking over. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. I mean,
So I watched it last night.
Yeah.
Because I like to go to bed angry. And no, you know what? I watched it last night, and then I was like, I can't go to sleep like this. So then I watched Chippendale, and then I was like, now I'm happy. Now I'm happy. And then I went to bed.
happy.
So, but unfortunately, and you know what? Chippendale was as long as I thought.
It's an hour and a half.
It was only an hour and a half.
half.
Dude, it
Hour,
was
an hour and a
short.
half.
It was a good movie.
I thought it was going to be like an hour and 50
it
or
literally
something.
it opened the door and said, "Hey, you know what? We're here," and they left.
Yeah, welcome to the party. It was a nice little noir movie. It was cool. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was good. Go watch it.
I will.
It's on Disney Plus. You'll enjoy it.
You know,
I loved it.
that was the one I was thinking like it was possibly going to be the most underrated thing of the announcement.
It's a sleeper hit.
Yeah.
It's a sleeper.
It was a sleeper because the way it was announced, people were not on board with it because it wasn't going to be a Rescue Rangers movie. Like that was the whole
not
bit.
like the classic animated show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh man, we're not gonna get the squeaky chipmunk voices. Nothing. It's good, solid."
I will say there is 2 Who Framed Roger Rabbit Easter eggs.
There's
There's at least 2
Okay.
that I saw.
what was the second one? I know the first one's obvious, but where's the second one?
The second one is when the villain is about to do his. It's like near the end of the movie.
Gotcha. I know what you're talking about.
No, you don't. It's when he opens up his little like tray of like torture tools.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you read what it said on the thing?
Then I don't know what you're talking about.
It said dip. One of the vials says dip on it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's the second Who Framed Roger Rabbit reference.
Cool.
I actually would be okay if this takes place in the Who Framed Roger Rabbit like
I think
Verse.
it does.
that would be great.
Yeah.
That'd be
that would
cool.
be so cool.
I kind of
crossover,
hoping
next
that
one.
this movie is a stepping stone for a full Rescue Rangers reboot. That's what I would like because it
Yeah.
kind of like made it seem like it was.
I'm not gonna lie. Afterwards, because it did recommend Rescue Rangers at the very end, like right after the movie, I was like, I might want to watch a couple of these.
They were very pushy on it. When you watch it, we'll talk more about
Okay,
it.
no problem.
Couple of announcements before we jump into the final Halo talk for the next couple of months, hopefully. I know. Rene and I were on Our Real Addiction.
Yes.
Adam was kind enough to invite both of us to talk some movies. We
I
talked
feel like he's
about.
afraid of me.
Yes.
He hasn't invited me at all.
No. Yes. I'm
afraid
No,
of
I
me.
totally agree with you there.
I feel like he's afraid that
He's
I'm
afraid
just
of the
gonna
truth.
hurt him.
No, I think it's more like you're gonna like verbally like whip him. Like
I'm gonna verbally whip him. I'll physically do that, and he'll like it.
He'll be like, he's on board. He's on board. He'll probably will. He'll play along with it.
Yeah.
And he won't play. It's not playing. It'll be like real.
By the end of the show, he'll have a ball gag in his mouth.
Oh my God! You ever seen the movie
in a
Pulp Fiction?
gimp outfit.
In a good old-fashioned gimp outfit. But he'll like that. He'll actually be that gimp.
So Rene and I were on our Real Addictions. So go check out their podcast Thursdays. Drops every Thursday at 11. So right after hours.
Adam's got a good setup now.
I'm pushing him to do a video version of the podcast, which hopefully will be going up on Keeping Up with the Nerds YouTube. Because they are going to fully be integrated with us by the time year 2 launches. So that is something that you guys will have to be looking forward to within the next couple of weeks, because there's a lot of planning in the next 2 weeks that we're all going to be doing. Like I said, new trailer, new intro wording. There's a lot of stuff that we're working on to kickstart year 2. Also, articles are up on keepingupwiththenerds.com. Follow us there. Follow us on our socials on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go do so. 107 subscribers. We're hitting that mark. Please get us to 150 soon. We're getting some good viewership.
Yep. It's growing.
Yeah.
And good impressions, good viewership.
My dad has finally watched the podcast now.
Oh, finally?
Which is weird to me. That he took an effort to look into what I do.
And he said we were funny.
No, and he said we were funny. And he watched all of our skits too. He said they were really funny. He goes if you didn't know what he was watching and he was laughing as much as he did, you thought he was watching like a comedy movie. He really liked it. He tried to be unbiased and say who's the better actor because he watched all of them, and he says I'm the better actor though.
That's biased.
I know. Yeah. No. It's honestly that's.
It
how
must
I feel
be nice
too.
to have someone in your corner, huh?
Yeah.
Because not even Annie is in my corner.
She listens to this, man. She's gonna listen to all the right up.
She'll turn around. She'll be like, "Oh, you want to see not behind you?"
Nah, she supports me. She's a great listener to this. She's been a great supporter since the beginning.
So is Mandy.
Yeah,
I have to say that.
Thank you.
She's as supportive as depends.
What about you, Nick? Who are you bringing into the podcast? Everyone.
His face. It was like sad. It was sad, Nick, for a moment.
I just want the hello darkness.
My old friend.
Oh man, maybe clip that, and Manny will make that a TikTok.
Yeah. So who are you bringing to the podcast?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Me, myself, and I.
There you go.
That's all you need.
I'm too much to bring more people in. I'm already enough.
Any other announcements?
I think that's about it. It's honestly a short week for us because we're doing a lot of stuff. We're prepping a lot of things.
Really quick, next week will be an annual. You want to do an annual then, right?
Yes, so it is issue 99. Issue 100 releases are an anniversary. So the next issue will be an annual issue. More than likely Top Gun, because we are watching early, courtesy of you. Because you being Nick, was like, I can't wait. I got to watch it now. But there was a couple of drinks inside of you, too.
That was a couple of drinks, yeah. And a good, what was it, like a heavy shot that we took before? Like,
I know, I got home the next day and I was like, yeah, I made a good purchase. Then I woke up the next day and I looked at my bank account and I was like, what did I do?
I was like, dude.
I was like, wow. Okay.
You were on it. I mean, that's what Top Gun does to you. That's what Tom Cruise does.
Dude,
Tom Cruise.
Top Gun gets you so psyched. Like, when you're just like, you're just like, you're in. So, you're ready to fly these planes.
IGN released the Top Gun in 5 minutes video, and I was watching it and I'm just like, dude, I'm freaking hyped for this movie. Like,
I hit myself really
so
hard. My
ready.
nipple's raw now.
It's all like poking out.
Like it hurt. Ow. It hurts my shirt.
Yeah, so I guess next week will be our Top Gun Maverick review.
Maybe for the annual, but I definitely want to talk about our future plans and everything. We always do that for an annual anyways, whenever there's a big issue.
Mm-hmm. Also, most likely Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Two episodes of Obi-Wan come out. Actually, today, the 2 episodes of Obi-Wan.
This issue
recording this issue, today 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi are out.
Might have to do a mini.
Maybe
in the middle of the week or something.
Yeah, we might have to show.
Well, that's
if Andrew.
That's future nerds problem.
So my big thing is, what exactly do I hate now that Halo is gone?
Nothing.
And you know what? Honestly, I've been watching great things. I started watching The Lincoln Lawyer. Fantastic show.
You get to live.
Wait, it's a show?
Yeah,
they made a show for it?
They made a show on Netflix.
Who's starring in it?
I forget his name. Look it up. He's a Latino actor. Oh. Dude, I love it. Dude, it's great. It is so good. It's like Suits, but The Lincoln Lawyer.
So you get to breathe easy now because you don't get to watch crap.
Oh, it's that guy that was. I've seen him in a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because also I had
Manuel.
somebody just shatter my world the other day when they were talking about Halo because they were talking about how they liked it, and I was struggling.
Biggest lie told in 2022.
And I was struggling to like not yell at them.
Wait, Neve Campbell is in the show.
Yes.
I'm in.
Yeah, no, it's a great show.
Yeah,
It's a great show.
No, Neve Campbell. I'm in.
Also, what's her name from Scream?
Courtney Cox.
No,
Okay.
the main actress from Scream.
Neve Campbell.
Oh, that's Neve Campbell.
That's Neve Campbell.
Okay, yeah.
I'm
she's
in.
like she's like a main character. In
Yeah.
that show.
Ooh, that's cool.
So anyway, because of Halo, she I don't know why I didn't know this. I did not know that Master Chief is Pornstache from Orange is the New Black.
I've been saying that.
What?
I don't know why that hasn't clicked.
Can you pull up a photo, please?
Yeah.
Like I don't know why. I know I have a feeling you did say it, and maybe my brain just tried to avoid it. But then like she made it like very clear that yes, it was, and it made me hate the show more.
So, Nick, we're going to be bringing on a guest later on throughout this podcast. So we want to know what your thoughts on Halo are. Because I think out of the both of us here, you've been the most vocal because you were the first one to give up. You've also been the first person to constantly just go like, ugh, every time we mention the topic. Yeah, exactly. Every time we mention Halo on the podcast.
That's
Get that face out of here. I don't want
look
to
at
see it
that
anymore.
mustache.
Let me see it.
Porn stash.
Yep, that's Pornstache right there.
That's Chief in his earlier years.
Well, this is how like this is how he first looked
John.
in season 1. They gave him like
God,
some sort of like
dude.
mullet.
Yeah, it looks terrible. Anyway,
God.
I don't want to spend any time on talking about that guy. So, because obviously the show also agreed he was a terrible addition to the show. Based off of what I've seen from this show, is that whoever made it understood what it meant to be a really good Halo show and just didn't give a shit.
Okay, sure.
And the reason being is because how is it that you have some of the coolest 20 minutes of a Halo show with multiple Spartans fighting off a horde of Covenant surrounded by just the worst story ever?
You're talking about the last 20 minutes, right?
The last 20 minutes. Because, for one, she grabbed the artifact. Then you have to have this, like, moment with the others. Once again, a lot of these things get solved with just wear the damn the damn armor. Like, a lot of things get settled.
Well, I think they really wrote themselves in a corner when they basically, whenever Master Chief touches the artifact, every single time, it just basically he gets visions and stuff.
Yeah, that's dumb.
It just no, definitely 100%. But we keep mentioning this. It's like out of
So the whole point.
We are on a time crunch.
What I'm saying is that this show had the potential and it knew what it could do in order to make this show really awesome. But they didn't care enough to do it.
Exactly. You said that like 2 issues ago. You said, because we compared it to Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
Or an issue ago. You were like, Star Trek Strange New Worlds is done by people that give a crap about this.
Yeah.
Halo is more like a paycheck kind of thing. You showed up, they said, here's a paycheck out of the $10 million that we're going to spend per episode, and you're going to write. It doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, not only that, but then also, how is it that you can make a Halo show, make Master Chief, and I get it now. We had to make Master Chief the most irritating and dumbest person in the show. So that way when we brutally murder him, you won't care.
That's true.
And you're actually pretty happy when Cortana takes over because now he's actually Chief.
That's what I was
Quiet.
saying.
He's not doing anything. He's just like, they ask him questions and he turns and then he gives like that stoic kind of look as Chief and then kind of turns back. They were like, oh yeah, how do we make Chief better? Just cut John out. Like, we don't need John. And she even says, I don't know if I can bring you back after we're done with
He
this.
wasn't John. Like, they killed John to bring in the Master Chief, the one person that mattered.
It was essentially an origin story for Master Chief.
It's an origin story on how exactly to make Master Chief, and I get it now. Now he probably won't take his helmet off and everything else because it's like, oh yeah, what I want is Zombie Chief. I want him falling apart. I want his inside him falling apart, and Cortana, like, she takes off the helmet and it's just
like a jog.
yeah, just, hey Chief, welcome back. And it just it's
Keith, what do you want, Keith?
Oh, you know what I want? I want him to look like D'Onofrio in Men in Black.
Sure.
Vincent D'Onofrio in the original Men in Black movie. I want that. I want where
better?
Yeah, where he just goes, yeah, is that better? Yeah, I want that. But for Chief. But overall, I think that this show is 2 tons of shit. It's garbage. It just, I think they on Thursdays every single day they just did a good old fashioned turd in my living room every single day.
I mean, yes, honestly, you are very expressive about this.
Yes.
Hopes, because before I ask about hopes for season 2, which obviously there's going to be none, right, for you, what stood out better for you, the Quan episode, because that apparently was a good episode for you, or this one?
I actually like the Quan episode more.
Are you? Oh my God, why are you so stupid?
You want to go?
No,
hold on.
Yet.
Whoa.
Not yet. Defend it before we fight.
Okay, hold on. In the Quan episode, Chief didn't die to be brought back by Cortana.
Yeah, that's fine.
Chief didn't basically commit seppuku because he's like, oh, I'm just not good enough. Cortana, take me.
Adrian!
Like, what the hell? Like, what happened here? Like, this is ridiculous. You're telling me that them fighting off a horde like Mando and Grogu may have done as like a cheap rent Grogu. It's kind of like that bootleg version of him. It's like a bootleg version of Grogu. Is Quan. You know, she's annoying. Bootleg Grogu. She's always taking stuff that doesn't belong to her. And for some reason, we can't understand her. Bootleg Grogu.
Sure, okay. Defend why that episode's good. Chief dying was good.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was, because then he's not talking. Look, the Chief at the end of that episode, when he doesn't talk, he just lifts the artifact and he starts dragging the Spartans into the ship. That is the Chief I
So
wanted.
what you're telling me is the character that you've been forcing us to deal with. Not even try and like deal with.
Yes.
We needed to murder him.
Yes.
In order to get the Chief you want.
Yes. This writing is so bad that they needed to go to the farthest extremes to get us to where we want.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is that Chief literally had to die. And the entire thing of Halo, Master Chief, everything, is you're supposed to like Chief. He's cold.
Yes.
He's just straightforward. Mission comes first. Hell, he loved Cortana, and he straight up murdered her.
Nah, he cucked her.
Yeah. He was like, oh, Cortana, we can be together. Psych. Go into the server, bitch. And then that was it. And that was it. But unfortunately, here they went, we don't know how to write Jon. We don't know how to write him.
Yeah.
So what should we do? Let's kill Chief and give Cortana's body, which also implies that Cortana is gone. We no longer have this cool Cortana that we actually
I will say the thing that I wanted, which would have been cool, right, is the moment when Chief turns to Kai, right, and says, or Kai's like, are you okay, Jon? I would have loved it is it Steve Dow's, the voice? Yeah. If he would have been the one to talk. That would have been dope.
Okay, I'll give you that. That would have been kind of
There
cool.
would have been cool setups.
Look, cool
like setup. I said in the chat,
I wanted Cortana. Hi, Chief. Hi, Kai.
Hi, Kai.
I'm in charge of this body now.
You're
That's what I want.
so stupid.
That is what I want.
Thinking.
You know what? I'm tired of this. All right? I don't need you. I don't need this. I don't need Chief.
You're going to excuse me for 1 second.
So welcome to...
Oh my God, it's finally going to happen.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, Nick had to be dealt with for a minute there. Got a little bit out of control. We apologize for that. But with Nick's absence, we brought a special guest.
Yeah.
A special guest for the last issue of year 1. Can you believe that?
Oh, my gosh.
We're ending strong. We're ending the year 1 with one of the worst shows that we've ever seen.
Yes.
We're bringing a special guest on for the first time on this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathon Price. How's it going?
Hey, it's going pretty good.
Welcome to the show. First time being on here.
I don't know if that's 100% accurate.
Has it?
But But
As
we're
a
gonna
guest?
roll with that.
No, you know what? Let me fix that. It's the first time you've been on the show as a guest.
Guest. He's been mentioned on the podcast.
You've been mentioned, and you've maybe had a voice or two or a word or two somewhere in there, one of those issues, but it's the first time you are a guest on the show. Does that work for you?
All right. Yeah, I'll take it.
Jon, welcome to the show. We wanted to bring you along because you and I went through one of the hardest journeys we've ever been to the last 2 months.
Yeah, I'm still a little jealous because you guys had the buddy system to watch the show with.
Well, it wasn't as finessed. Lots of manual syncing. There wasn't like a streaming party. We were just on the phone and then telling each other to start and stop when necessary. And Bryan had commercials, I didn't, so it was a nightmare.
So you're paying for no commercials on Paramount?
I got mine through Apple TV.
So he had no
I think
commercials.
It's a special Paramount one.
But see, he missed out because the commercials were the best part of the show. So he so he had to sit through the whole thing.
Yeah, there was no breaks.
Well, he technically had a pause for me, but Jon, would you say you are a Halo connoisseur, a Halo fan, an expert?
Connoisseur is a big word here. I would say I'm closer to a Halo consumer.
Okay.
If you put it in front of me, I will play it. If you put a book in front of me, I'll try to read it.
I'll do my best.
I got maybe 20 hours of Halo lore, YouTube videos I've seen in the last decade plus. I'm relatively aware of how things should be, and definitely aware how things shouldn't be, considering what we saw on that show.
I think the funny thing was when the show was first announced. Because this was announced since like last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, like when an official Halo show, yeah.
Yeah. So Jon and I, the moment it was announced, we're like, okay, we got to make a plan to watch this. Mm-hmm. We're gonna sit down, we're gonna watch it. We're gonna do like Halo nights and stuff. So this was planned out for ever, right? We weren't ready for the catastrophe that was the show when it first premiered in the first episode.
So here's my question to both of you. When you watched the trailer for this show, did you expect it to be as bad or the turnout as it was going to be, how it is now?
Jon, you want to go first?
I am an optimist. I saw that and I said they can't take an IP this big and drop it in the mud, right? Like it's just they know they have to do right by their fan base, and I have a very different opinion now, but going forward, I hyped up. I was super excited. I thought we were gonna get what we've been waiting years for, and I loved the trailer. I thought it was crisp. I thought it was clean.
Did you ever have to, before the show came out, when you saw the trailer, did you ever have to defend it at one point? Like saying, no, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Don't worry, guys. Like that.
To Bryan, really, because anyone else that I'm with, I'm probably more invested in Halo and the lore. And, like when I go online, there's like a 10% chance if I click on YouTube, I'm just going to be like, oh, I want to listen to Sergeant Johnson lines for like 20 minutes. Like I don't really know a lot of other people who are necessarily doing that kind of stuff. So it's a little more central to my world. But yeah, not really a lot of people to tell them it's going to be something, because at the end of it, not a lot of people ended up even trying to watch it. It was really just me, Bryan, and maybe some scragglers on Reddit.
Yeah, it's because that was the thing, is when the trailer first popped up, I think I was more excited to have a show to watch with Jon, because we don't really get to do much together since he lives like an hour away from me. Yeah. So it was like, okay, cool. Like we have something to basically share on a weekly basis and watch together. So when it came time to for him to defend the show, it was like, yeah, like I'm not against it. I'm just kind of scared because I know that this show has been in development hell for almost a decade at this point. Yeah, basically. And Spielberg was signed on since 2013.
And then Peter Jackson had his name in the hat.
Yeah,
at some point.
I remember that.
Yeah,
it was such a weird thing. So for me, I was more in that mindset where it was kind of like, okay, well, how good could this show be? It just felt like something was off about it. Yeah. But whatever, it's Halo, right? I mean, how bad could it be? I enjoyed Halo 4 for what it was.
It's only a video game show.
It's rich in history. They can't mess this up that badly, right? So we watched the first episode, and I think the way that we're going to go about this discussion is we won't go through the entire synopsis, because you can listen to the last 9 issues of Keeping Up with the Nerds to know exactly what we thought about episode per episode and how mind-numbingly tortured we were throughout the whole process. You guys can go watch that. I think this is more of an analysis of the series in its entirety.
I think we do have to obviously mention the finale, if anything, because in this issue, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. So this is it'll be the 9th episode, and pretty much kind of like
show
review.
Mean,
that's the thing is, I felt like nothing in that episode really mattered up until like the last 20 minutes. Because what was it? If we want to do a quick little summary, John, remind me. Master Chief convinces the Spartans essentially that Halsey is manipulating them, right?
She's evil.
Yeah, he gets that moment and somehow gets Kai and Vanek to believe.
Not Kai, Riz.
Oh, sorry, Riz and Vanek to believe. Kai's just an easier name to say. So both the girl Spartans are both Kai, and then it's Vanek.
Kai 1, Kai 2,
and Jimmy Rings, I think, is the name.
So he's convincing the 2 other Spartans after he gets beaten up, right?
Yeah.
That, Halsey's manipulating you guys, and we've all been kidnapped as children and brainwashed to believe that Halsey was good. Sergeant Johnson comes out and he's like, "It's true. I can justify. I can support."
Captain Keyes.
Captain Keyes. Sorry, Captain Keyes.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Captain Keyes walks out, basically says, "Yeah, John's right.
Mm-hmm.
That you guys, I was there.
I was there when we took you.
I also planned the kidnapping.
Yeah, I was there when we put the clones in.
Everything.
Yeah.
And then they kind of make this plan, makeshift in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
We're gonna split up. We're all gonna do what we're supposed to. See if we can get the artifacts before McKee basically leaves planet to the Covenant homeworld. Mm-hmm. And Kai, being Kai, because of the gun grease that's in her hair, says Halsey's mine. Mm-hmm. So she ends up going, right? Then we get like a 10-minute segment where Kai is like basically intimidating Halsey, and in the process he ends up murdering the little pet that Halsey has. John and I were gonna say, John. Man.
I love that, like, he was so insignificant in our eyes. Do we know his name?
No.
Trying to remember.
They never said his name.
No, because that was the ongoing joke between John and I, is that every time he was on scene, it was kind of like, why are you here?
Yeah.
I think for me, the part that, I don't know if it was different for you, John, but remember that scene where Halsey's clone is about to be used to create Cortana?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like sexually like doing things with the clone, and it's kind of like this awkward 5-minute like period of just kind of him like caressing the clone.
Yeah, I mean, it's Halsey's brain. I think they call that a sapiosexual, right, where intelligence is the most attractive thing.
But that
so it didn't matter if she was a dying clone. He wanted some.
Wanted the mind.
Didn't he also take the clone's body away? Like, it was dead, but like it was like.
No, he put it in the acid.
The kid was a perv through and through.
He also kind of wanted to do things with the dead body. It kind of seemed that way.
Yeah, but I think he didn't want it because the mind was gone. He literally wanted the mind F.
Anyway, the guy got bone crushed on the roof of the ship, right? Yeah. Which was satisfying, because thank God that guy is just annoying. And I forgot, before his death, Kai takes the helmet off.
Yes.
John makes an audible no during the whole episode, because it's like, it's the continuous need to take the helmet off.
Yeah.
It's the disregard for their own safety. Like, you take a helmet off, you're more likely to either get shot in the head or suffer blunt trauma from when that ship inevitably they got shot enough it brought down, and she like smack her head against something.
Yeah, because the ship's falling and she takes off her helmet, or is it?
She takes off the helmet to intimidate Halsey.
Oh, that's right.
And the thing was, you would think that they would learn that the armor protects them after Master Chief got beaten up by 2 Spartans in full armor.
Yeah.
No, she takes the helmet off, and then guess what? Little pet dude comes up behind her with a crowbar and smacks her in the head.
Well, she can take a hit, obviously.
It doesn't freaking matter. It's like, you would think if you're in a situation trying to intimidate someone, a face isn't going to intimidate you. It's the helmet. The helmet is what's scary.
But that's the thing that shows you that the writers honestly don't know how to do that. That's the thing. They're like,
Brian, was this our conversation last night, or was this the internet that informed me the little nerd pervy assistant could have just had a gun, could have just shot her in the
But
back of
that's
the
the
head,
situation with everything.
Yeah, he took like a
Yeah.
crowbar hammer. Like,
It was like a big old wrench.
yeah, I mean, I think I see that like on like geek.com, like that little like multi-tool axe thing.
Yeah, now John brings up a good point because like it was every episode where the helmets come off where we're just like, how easy of a target is John at any point, right?
Yeah.
To basically just get sniped. Right? At any point.
You would think so too, that like if there's like enemies coming in and like, oh, one of them's got his helmet off, just take that one out.
Do you guys played Halo Reach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you play Halo
Cat.
Reach?
No, I'm just a
Cat. Rene, you didn't?
No, I stopped after I think like Halo ODST or like Halo 2.
Okay, so Halo Reach, the whole thing is like from the beginning, you know the end, right? It's pretty much the Suicide Squad. You know, Reach
It's Rogue One.
It's Rogue One. But
I like how it sounds better to Bryan. He has to say Rogue One.
the Spartans are running. The team you follow, they're running through an alley.
Yeah.
And one of the characters towards like the fourth act of the game, you know, if it was like a 5-act game, storyline, they're talking the plan. She's telling some things, and just out of nowhere, she gets sniped right through the head. She's wearing a helmet, and it's just like it was from a jackal sniper in a Phantom, like off. I don't know how many, you know, what the distance was, but it's like they're good shooters. That the Sniper Alley is infamous for Halo 2 Legendary, right? Like you take off your helmet, you immediately remove any chance at survival.
Yeah, basically.
It's just I don't know.
Because it brings to question. No, it brings to question, which is a good point that you just made right now. It brings to question that ship should have had weapons of some sort, right?
Oh, definitely.
So why, like, out of everything that's going on, I understand. In panic, you might just grab the closest thing next to you. Dude was gone for a solid like 10 seconds. There should have been an armory somewhere with a sidearm.
Well, wasn't? Oh no, because that was like
That's a military space graded ship.
But that ship was specifically for her to leave, wasn't it?
It was her own personal ship, I think. It's military grade.
Yeah, but I remember they were going to exile her from the.
It's military grade. It's a Pelican, isn't it, John?
No, that was not a Pelican.
Okay, well, it's close enough to something. It's military grade. It's UNSC. You really think they're not going to have sidearms in there?
Well, I feel like if see, the thing is, I'm going off of that was her ship that she was going to leave in, and I think if
so you wouldn't think she has weapons in the ship?
No, I would think that anyone that was going to take her would have weapons on themselves and not in the ship.
It's dumb. The whole thing is dumb.
No, it is. I'm just
It
saying.
just doesn't work.
But it doesn't explain. Again, it's, we have to look into it. It's not told or anything like this. It's not shown.
So fine. But anyway, she still gets smacked in the head by the crowbar thing, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And she ends up escaping. Halsey ends up escaping in the escape pod, and there's this whole like tragic. This is even before the title screen shows up, right? So we're kind of like, okay, well, we're not going to get a title screen.
Yeah.
Ship crashes as Halsey escapes in the escape pod because she's all dizzied out. And they make this whole ordeal where, like, Kai's dead. We finally lose this part. Nope, she climbs out of the flames, and she's still alive. John looks at her, and she's just like, yeah, she's capable of combat. Title screen. All right. Even because it was John, Sarah was watching in the background, and I heard Sarah in the background go like, that's dumb. Well, yeah, because it was dumb.
Yeah,
It's such a stupid little intro that they did.
Cortana, I'm gonna need your help.
Oh, that's
I'm gonna need
right.
you, Cortana.
I forgot.
I'm gonna need you, Cortana. That's what it is. Yeah.
That's what he sounds like to me.
I forget what else happened in that episode because I don't think.
I mean,
did they really? Oh, they capture Halsey because she goes off planet somewhere.
Yeah, she crash lands and they catch up to her.
And they they basically like lock her up, right?
But that's the thing too, is that when she was in the escape pod, I saw that pod bed, and I was like, okay. I'm all like.
So then she was still in the. It's something I don't know how they did it. Anyways, that's
they captured Halsey, and then they bring her back to Reach, and then next thing you know, the daughter talks to her, freaking yells at her and says, "You're a terrible person." Blah 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 blah.
And then she throws a mother.
Yeah.
At the end, she hits her with the mother.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh.
So they leave Halsey, and then Halsey's having a seizure.
I will say the girl that plays Miranda is such a great actress because John said it best. I'll let you explain it, John. But you said it best when he said the casting is so great in this show
Oh yeah.
It's just the writing. That's
Oh
all
yeah.
that is.
And like I'll be the first to tell you, like it's not that it disappoints me if I see someone of a different race play a character that isn't that race.
Yeah.
It excites me,
Mm-hmm.
but it adds a little more of a challenge. Like, okay, well, you remove my look-alike easy nostalgia component, so now you need to build something else there. And I thought the characters did that very well.
Yeah.
You know, like Captain Keyes felt like the Keyes character. You know, and Miranda, though they went like a different route and turned her less military and more the military science, right? She felt like she could fit a role. I like the Miranda Keyes role from the Halo games. You know, it's a strong woman I would follow to war type, right? Like that great line in Halo 3, like the second chapter or something, third chapter, a soldier's like Captain Keyes or something, or Commander Keyes or whatever, talking to Miranda, what should we tell the troops or something? And she goes, tell them we go to war. And it's just like she cocks a gun, and it's like so cool. But you know, this one she's a little more soft. But she's, you know, it's like you're building a character that I could believe is the daughter of these two other characters who are I don't know. I like
There's
it.
motivation because the way
cast
I
was
see
good.
her, the way I see it is that her character is written as kind of like, you know, she wants to prove something not just to herself, but to like Halsey, right? Because she is the basically product of Captain Keyes and Halsey. And so you can tell that there's so much hate by Miranda in terms of like, you know, my mother basically ignored me and went full on focus on the Spartan program. Yeah. She doesn't even acknowledge any of my achievements. So she's casted well enough that this actress can play this character, this version of the character pretty well. And the actress that plays Halsey, she does look like Halsey. I'll be honest. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with her. Yeah. So we get this interrogation scene, you know, like you said, she has a seizure, right? All the while, there's this weird sequence of events where the Spartans are going to the Covenant homeworld, but then they do this interstellar bit.
I saw, I was like, okay.
Yeah. But
if you send 10,000 soldiers, 10,000 soldiers will die.
But it did come up. Oh, sorry.
I love the interstellar bit.
No.
There was no point to it.
There was no point to it, but it did come up with
it.
one line that both you and I were like, that's the line. And it was with Cortana. What was it again, John? It was like where...
you guys are alive? I didn't think you guys... Oh, no. It's... The statistics were so low, like the chance of survival was so low that you know, I didn't want to say anything to make it any worse or something, but it was so snippy, snarky. It was very Cortana, very Jen Taylor.
It was one of the first times, one of the few times where Cortana was written like Cortana.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was missing from it, because if you're not going to give us, you know, John, Master Chief, the Spartan Demon, at least give us a, you know, quirky, smart-ass little Cortana, you know?
Yeah.
And even John was, like, excited that she was, like, miniaturized. Finally.
Yes. Yeah, I said that. She was small on the table and go, she's small!
It's great to see that. Like, that's what you want to see. If you're going to give us something, give us that.
Yeah.
And then they get to the Covenant homeworld, right? He has this moment which is kind of weird. It's like, stay the line. It's like, okay, like how all of a sudden, like, you know that this line is the thing that's not going to spaghettify you, right? For whatever. Sure, whatever, right? They get to the Covenant homeworld. This is where it started to get good, in my opinion. And this is where I say that the last 20 minutes of this episode are probably the best 20 minutes of the entire series, because we get a good, very, very crappy CG, but very entertaining fight scene with the Spartans and the Covenant forces. You know, the grunts are basically getting thrown all over the place because they're grunts. Yeah. And I do love that. I think it was Venick, like, slaps one of the grunts on the ground and then steps on its, like, breather. So he's, like, choking. It just dies. He picks up the Needler. One of them ends up blowing up.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's Chief just fighting a bunch of brutes and, like, just doing some badass stunts, like, you know, blocking the gravity hammers
that was
and the
really
axes
cool.
and stuff.
Yeah.
It was cool. And then you didn't like it, John, but I liked it. The first-person bits, they were pretty good.
I just felt like they were trying too many different takes on what they wanted, you know, the visuals to be throughout the series. And it's like,
okay, yeah,
like the mid big fight where they first lose the artifact. I don't know if that's episode 5, 6, 7. they decided to go for this Iron Man approach where we
Yeah.
get to see his face inside the helmet. I don't think we got that in this final episode.
We
But
got
now
it
we
like
get
3 or 4 times. It wasn't that
in
much.
the final episode we
Yeah.
did see his face in the mask. Okay.
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
you're right.
Yeah,
I think it was audible.
yeah,
because
but
we
then
saw
now,
to
Riz
Cortana.
and Kai.
Yeah.
okay, and then
mainly.
now you add this POV kind of style, and it's just it was messy, it was blurry, it was choppy. It was fun because it's fan servicey.
Mhm.
It looked when you did something like that, it looked more like. Did you guys watch Free Guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know when they're in the game, it's real, but then you watch a screen and it's them behind the computer, and you see the
Mhm.
computer, and it's all like chopped, like blocky, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
obviously a game. Like that's what it did for me. It's like you put it in, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. I was already having a hard time suspending disbelief, but this
It just took you out even more.
But out
completely
of
took me out.
everything that has happened in the show, I mean, because this is the thing is, I get what you're saying, John, but it's like out of everything in the show, if you're gonna do something, at least be fan service. Because the right to exist here is kind of dumb. Like they're not respecting the franchise for what it is. It's not good writing. It doesn't connect to any point. And we'll get to this whole series talking about a couple minutes once we're done up talking about episode 9. But if you're gonna give us something, the fan service, at least on my end, was enjoyable there. You know?
I before coming on just watched Chippendales Rescue Rangers on Disney Plus.
Dang.
I did too. It was a pretty good one.
I
If
haven't.
you want to talk about tasteful fan service and the ability to give the audience what they want,
Don't say anything because
we're
Renee
not.
hasn't
We're
seen
not.
it.
We're not. We're
Okay.
not spoiling.
I told
I'm just
Renee
saying-
there's
I'm just saying,
I told Renee
it's-
there's a good cameo on there that I didn't believe would happen, and they did it. So we're just gonna keep quiet about it. But go on, John.
don't worry. I never talk spoilers. I knew what I was brought on to talk about.
Okay.
But it's like because the night before I had just watched Halo, something that's supposed to be nostalgic to me, something that's supposed to make me feel things and connect and get that that stand-up moment where you go, that's in the game. That's the thing that's in the
Yeah.
game, and it means nothing to anybody else other than just like, oh yeah, they literally just did the thing, and then to go watch Disney Plus knock it out of the park with Chip and Dale with a whole movie that's built around they did the thing. There are tasteful approaches.
Yeah.
There
100%.
are things that are on the nose, but they're not taken so seriously, but they're taken respectfully. I think that Halo misses the mark on that. I think they got too many people throwing in like the opening half hour of Matrix 4, where it's all a video game. Oh, the fans like this. Oh yeah, give them that.
Yeah.
Right. That's all that's probably the exact same boardroom talk and meeting that they had when they built the show
Yeah.
for Halo.
Well, I think who was it that said it? I don't know if it was you, John, or if it was Nick, but the way it kind of feels is like this series. Because before I get to that point, let's wrap up episode 9.
Yeah.
McKee touches the stone. Chief and McKee, because she's basically going to be sacrificed, right?
Yeah.
They end up going to the Halo, and McKee's like, no, this is where we belong. This is where we should be at. All the while, basically still in the middle of combat. Kai sees that Chief is like being pulled in by the stone or by the artifact, so she shoots McKee to basically pull them back into the reality of what the Covenant whole planet is and what's going on right there. John realizes what Kai did and is like shocked for what seems like 5 seconds. He realizes that he can't save Silver Team and take the artifact without giving up one or the other. So he tells Cortana, take over my body, right? And this is the moment where it started getting where it needed to be.
Yeah.
Because he ends up dying and we get Silent Chief for the first time.
That's so. I wanted to say this in the group chat, but you haven't seen it because I watch Halo in the morning, and I watched it and I was like thinking in my head, and I had this epiphany, and I was gonna text it, but you haven't seen it. So at the time, and I was like, so is this basically an origin story for Master Chief?
So we killed off John,
Yeah.
and now we're getting
Master Chief, yeah.
without Cortana. But it was really clever because I kind of saw it, but I've never played the first one all the way through, right?
Yeah.
So, but John picked it up. What was the line that Cortana says, John?
So that's not actually in the first game. The line she says in the end, the pawn and the king go in the same box. I think it's
something like that.
I think it's the first line she says from Inception and Creation from the books.
So it's an OG Cortana line though. It's something that most people would know.
Yeah.
It's referenced a lot. So it's a pretty clever kind of like thing to kind of include in there.
At the end of the game, the pawn and the king go back in the same box.
That's it. So he ends up basically saving Silver Team. He ends up getting the artifact. Riz is all blown up because she got stickied and her ribs are showing. As they're flying away in the ship, he like basically, how do you pronounce it? Is it cauterize or cauterize? Cauterize the wounds and stuff. And he's silent, and that's it. That's the end of the series. Or the end of the season.
Yes.
Right?
Season 1.
To get back to the point I was going to get to, I don't know who said it, but to me it feels like Halo was written by people who just wanted to get a paycheck and they just tried to force things in there. Whereas things like Star Trek Strange New Worlds and Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers, they're written and produced by people that understood where the franchise came from and tastefully put in those like references. Kind of like John was saying, because I think he said it best here, where it was just kind of like, those are not shoehorned references. You kind of look at it and are just satisfied by it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's I know all of those things that I see on the screen.
Exactly.
It's like ATSTs.
Shut up, dude.
Well, I think
I am leaving the podcast now.
I think a good example of that, of just like all I know these things, is Free Guy. When you watch Free Guy, it shows you all these different things. You know, gives you a portal gun, gives you like the Fortnite little pickaxe thing, and stuff like that, the Mega Man blaster, and it's not, like you said, shoehorned in or just for a quick little thing. That's like, no, they know, like the writers knew what they were getting into. They're making a video game movie that's about playing video games, so we're gonna add stuff that are from video games that only fans would know.
But this is the problem that I have with Halo, right? Is that because I've we were looking at some reviews as well. I don't know if you were with us, John, or if you were with me when we went over the reviews and stuff, but like people are supporting this. Like people are liking it.
Oh yeah, there's actually legit people that are like for it.
Have you seen the reviews, John?
Don't get me wrong. I don't want it to stop. I want it to keep on going. Yeah, that's my opinion. I want them to keep on taking it the way that they are taking it.
Why?
I don't think it's a right way to do it. I don't think it's the version that's for me. But it's, we've come too far down this road for them to say, oh, we can take it back and fix it and make it the way you guys like. That's you can't do that. So all you can do is you soldier on and you make the story you're going to make. And there are parts about it that are exciting. It's like I do enjoy the combat. I do enjoy the journey we have to go through watching it, of just waiting to get a scene that feels like it should have been this the whole time. Like that 5 minutes of this is what it should have been is so much hype and so much pump. And if we had to go through 9 episodes to get 20 minutes of this is what the Master Chief is, how many times throughout this series did we get these 30 seconds? That's what the Chief should have been. And it's like we're pumped, we're hyped, we're feeling it. And so it's like I kind of want to see them struggle. I want to see them struggle. I'm going to hate watch it. But it's, and it's like the narrative like practically tells itself. Like where do they go from here? Cortana has full control of John's body. We had an arc with Quan that was not a great arc, but now Quan has some sort of some satisfaction. Well, it didn't matter then, but guess what? The writing's probably going to do. Who's the only person who could bring back John? Cortana has this one-off line. I don't know if I can bring you back. It's gonna be Quan, dude.
John, you already gave me anxiety with your stupid little synopsis of what episode 9 was. Can you read off what you texted me? No, dude, legitimately, he texted me the day.
Weren't there curse words in there?
I just like bleep it out or just say the first letter of the curse word.
Oh, you were getting all frustrated.
I was because he messaged me that morning because we always try to set up like a time to do Halo Watch.
You said Halo Watch today, and I said Obvi. I heard it got 12.7 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes. And then you said best version of Master Cheeks yet, banging episode. And then I said Maki turns into Data and merges with Cortana, which makes her even more compatible with the Chief. Then the Chief gains sympathy for the Covenant and becomes a conscientious objector. Quan becomes the new Master Chief after one day of training and is better than him. And then you said reading that gave you anxiety.
Because it's like, I would believe it.
That reminded me of the group message that I had to read off when we were on our way. I think it was for Spider-Man, and you were doing, you were sitting in the group chat that you're in, of like your origin story of a villain, and you went like full trailer mode. And remember, I'm reading it
I
off.
had those moments, yeah.
And John, and I loved when John would always add on into that. It was so much funny. It was just like showing like you would betray the group and stuff like that.
It's my village and origin
It's your
story.
village and origin story.
That's the thing is.
Wait, was that the long one that you wrote on Facebook and I added something to it?
Yeah,
I
you
think
kept
so,
you kept fueling the fire basically.
Oh, like the whole like redemption arc and we'd fight each other. And it was really Bryan. Bryan was the one who went back in time, but it was really me that was him. Was that one? I remember that story. We'll have to surface that later.
Yeah, that's funny. But I'm looking at as you guys are talking, I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes right now because for the longest time they didn't have a full on review of it. So Rotten Tomatoes, you guys want to guess the tomato meter?
69.
You took my number. I'm gonna say, are we doing prices right?
No, I just want to know your guys'
So who's
guess.
closest?
You haven't said anything.
72%.
Technically, John's closer.
Is it 70?
It's 70.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Audience score? What do you think the audience gave it?
58.
John?
I actually went to IMDb, so I'm looking at it. So I
Oh,
know
okay. So he knows. Okay.
Sorry. I didn't know you were gonna ask. So once I got that one, I went directly.
You just went, you did like Google. 52% the audience gave it.
All right.
And an average score of like out of 10, 6.75.
So this brings to question, right? Because we went over the reviews in the first issue that we talked about Halo, which was like 9 issues ago, right?
Yeah.
Issue 90, actually. Who is this show for? Because, be honest with me, John, if we didn't watch it together, would you have watched it on your own and been able to enjoy it as much as you did?
No, I would not have been able to enjoy it. I would have watched it on my own, but
You just resented every moment.
It was an experience with you.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think that's what was compelling me to just basically watch it every week because it was dreadful. It was terrible. Like,
creatively bankrupt, boring, and bastardized version of one of my favorite franchises.
I like
Someone
that. Creatively bankrupt.
It's just because, look,
Yeah.
when we were first talking about this in issue 90, right?
Mhm.
I think I mentioned that John and I both said that this series doesn't feel like it belongs to anyone. Because as someone who is a massive like Halo consumer, right? This is going so far out of bounds that it just doesn't feel natural at all.
Yeah.
Like none of the story really makes sense. Master Chief keeps taking off his helmet for whatever reason. It's not following a Halo Bible the way it is. It's kind of like using a foundation and then pulling things out that are supposed to support a building, and the building is eventually going to collapse. It's not for the sci-fi people because as someone that enjoys sci-fi, aesthetically, it doesn't look good. And I think Nick was saying that the environments when they're outside look great. They don't. You can tell where the green screen or the blue screen is at. In most of those places, and the props are just terrible. You can see that they're mostly foam or they're not painted the whole way through. And if you're going to say, well, it's for people that enjoy dramas and stuff, it's not for that either.
No, that's the thing. It's like it's not even a well-written show that doesn't even follow the source material. It's just a badly written show in general.
Yeah. So then who is the show for? And that's the biggest question is, it's the biggest question out there.
Well, I said it before. It's like, this movie went through so many rewrites in the past like couple of years, and it was reaching basically its copyrighted, or not its copyrighted, it's basically it had to be put out by 2022
Or lose the rights.
Yeah. So it literally felt like, okay, this is basically, it's not going to get any better than this. We're running out of time. We need to put out a series.
Gotcha.
That's what it feels like, honestly. Now watching it as a whole, honestly, that's what it feels like.
How much time do we have left?
We're at 38 minutes.
38 minutes. So let's use these last 10 minutes, John, if you will, to discuss what season 2 could possibly bring. Because I'm stumped, personally. I don't think that they could really salvage any of the characters and bring them out in a good possible way. I think that you did kind of accurately say where Quan could be useful in saying that, well, she'll come back as a way to bring Jon back. But do we want Jon back?
I want Jon back, but I want him to be different. I want him to have learned something from his time with Cortana inside.
He did. He learned to leave his helmet on now.
Do you think
He learned to leave his helmet on.
You think that in the mind of Cortana, they're just doing it, going like, well, I witnessed you and McKee go at it. Now it's my turn.
Funnily enough, if there was time, I was going to make a point about how this whole series and all the events are based off of Chief's sexual awakening. Without that, which Cortana is considered part of the sexual awakening because she was a part of him at the time.
I mean, she got cucked.
That so many parts of this story was written to get from point A to point B without any real reason. It's just like, I have these points in my mind. How do we connect them? And someone says, don't worry about that. Just draw a straight line. And so it's like, oh, here's this great idea. Chief has sex. Give me 5 episodes before that leads up to it, and make it as Halo-y as you can without, really caring. And
by
that's
admiring
really
each other's scars.
Yeah, and so
it's a weird kink.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so is immediately ripping out your fingernails after losing your virginity.
Right. After orgasm.
Or is that supposed to be like some sort of like matronly, like, she bleeds or something like. I don't know.
Where are you going?
Some sort of like
I don't know where you're trying to go with that.
I know what he was.
She
like when it
she-
happens, she's like, it's the first time. There's a little bit of blood. That's what it's supposed to be.
Blood didn't happen, so I got to rip off my fingernail.
I don't know, guys. Season 2, I think, will be like the writers like the idea of Chief being fully realized with Cortana in control, but they realize that they can't just kill Pablo's contract. So
that's the big issue right there.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be something with Quan. You don't just bring in a character like that with no real regard. And then not have her involvement to some sort of redemption story. Like
That's
if she is,
true.
she's this terribly basic, shoehorned character that helps Chief learn his humanity because he's the first person he disobeyed orders for, right? And he just, it felt wrong. Like, okay, you touched the artifact, you had a dream, it felt wrong, and they're gonna try to make that emotion bigger than it actually was in season 2. I guarantee it. It's like, Chief, didn't I do this for you? It's like, and the worst part about it is I'm gonna fall for it because there'll be enough time in my mind to believe it was bigger than it was. And I think years from now, Halo is gonna suffer or benefit from what I call the prequel trilogy effect, in which I've come to learn in terms of Star Wars that though those movies suck, there was a good story that was trying to be told. They did it poorly. But
Jon,
now,
you're too nice, man. Why are you?
I'm just saying, I've now removed what the story Lucas was trying to tell and how it was told, and they're two separate entities. And so now it's like, let me use that lens. I've matured as a viewer, as a critic. Let me use that same lens for Halo. I think it's a good story they're trying to tell.
Nope.
I think it is.
Yeah, this is
They're
John's
terrible
opinion.
writers. Terrible writers, right?
Jon,
Right,
are you the type of person? Let me ask this: are you the type of person that gets a bad dish at a restaurant and you'll just eat it to not hurt their feelings?
You know what?
I'm the type of person that believes someone is sitting in the writing room and told their parents, "I'm really proud of the work I did," and their parents believed them. Right? Like that's where my heart goes.
Good job, honey.
Right?
Let's put the script up on the fridge now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And I can't live in a world where I'm sad because a mom reads Rotten Tomatoes and says, "No, honey, your work's terrible."
No, all the people on the internet,
As your mother who loves you, stop writing for all of us. Like that hurts me inside. Season two is gonna focus up on the fallout that's gonna happen because Shocker from Spider-Man: Homecoming. Why can't I remember his name?
Were you
He
talking?
had such a cool name.
Oh, I know. Can you look it up? Oh no, you
What?
got internet, John.
Soren.
Oh, was it him?
No, he's gonna have to deal. The season 2 is gonna follow some sort of fallout that happens from his leadership at that pirate section. Quan's gonna heal the Master Chief. I personally, I would love if season 2 just started with like a really cheesy off-screen Master Chief's reading a report and it just says Madrigal Glass, no survivors. Like that would be great. And then you start off, don't have to worry about Quan, don't have to worry about anything, just and Reach.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're gonna see the Reach. I think 2 seasons is what they were greenlit for, so they're gonna have to somehow build up enough interest, and then they're gonna tease officially finding Halo at the very end. I think season 2 is all of Reach, and season 3 is only gonna exist if the cliffhanger of we just got to Halo. Will you give us some more time? That's
We
what it's
actually
gonna be.
became a
That's what
Halo series. Like,
Yeah.
Guys, just believe in us for
Yeah.
a bit. I will say that I'm glad the season did not end with the fall of Reach, because I think my biggest complaint throughout this entire watch was if Reach falls because Master Chief bangs someone and then she just took it back because her sexual awakening was not there after a guard tased her again, I would have been pissed. That would have been a bad reason to make Reach fall, right? It's all Master Chief's fault. What I expect in season 2 is more development in understanding not the human side of Master Chief, because I think we can all agree that it just doesn't matter. It doesn't sell. Give us the Spartan. Give us the Spartan version of Chief. You know, the one that doesn't have to take the helmet off constantly.
Yeah.
Because the complaint for me is, I get it. He wants to show face, but the face that he's expressing on screen is not good enough.
Yeah.
It's like if Pedro Pascal can do more emotions wearing a Mandalorian helmet than he can, you know, you really got to consider how you're approaching a character.
Yeah.
Right? Because Master Chief in the games has always conveyed a lot of emotion, even with the helmet on. So why can't we do it here? You can talk. You want to have the same amount of lines? By all means, go for it.
Yeah.
Just keep the helmet on. I know John's right. I do feel Quan's going to be a big key factor in the second season.
Yeah, because if she wasn't in this season, it makes more sense that season 2.
She's the one that kind of
utilize her more in season 2.
Yeah. But I will say I don't think Madrigal gets glassed. I think it gets left alone. There's no reason, John. Why would it get glassed? Just cuz?
No, dude, it's Madrigal is the giant producer of the hydrogen that they need for their ships.
Is it really?
Yeah, that was like the whole point of why they're based there. And then it was all like disguised like hydrogen something, but there's a secret portal on this planet.
Yeah, you paid more attention to that detail than I did.
I don't know, dude. It was
It was pretty blatant. He's all like,
Rene, what do you got for season 2?
oh man, I'm not even after this. I'm still kind of hesitant to even watch season 2. But I guess
You're gonna have to.
I'm gonna have to.
You're
but
contractually buying
what?
buy this show to watch.
I'm
season
by
2.
this show. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to exit this show, guys. This is my final episode.
oh gosh, that was like someone was telling me online about the after credits scene for the last episode. Did you guys catch that?
There was an after credit scene.
Yeah, it was just a video of someone's Paramount Plus being unsubscribed.
Yes,
That's over.
yes, love it. That's the best Easter egg.
It's just an exit. Like, it's just like, would you like to unsubscribe to Paramount Plus?
It just shows like a fan wearing a Halo shirt, and he's just like at disbelief of what he just saw, and it's a long sequence of him going online, unsubscribing, and just like,
What's your reason for unsubscribing? Halo.
and just him looking down at his Master Chief helmet, and then it just fades black.
Oh my god.
trying to figure out how to unsubscribe from Paramount.
Yeah.
Jonna, I'm gonna need you now.
John, are we going to be watching season 2 together?
Yes, but I think in all things being well, since I think I'll be more local, we should just group it up.
Yeah,
I'm down.
I'm down for
Yeah.
it. They start filming this summer, according to
Yeah,
Pablo.
I think invite everyone who's on the podcast right now.
Who's here in the studio right now?
I mean, like, it would be interesting if, like, we open up Discord to, like, public. Like, we open Discord publicly and then just host, like, Halo nights on there. Can we get copywritten or copy struck for that? For streaming it on there?
Technically, well, if...
It's like theater watch,
that's
you
the
know?
thing. Oh, if
Or
you're doing a
we
theater watch,
or we wink, you know,
Yeah.
wink, wink, John. We don't do that. 'cause
Yeah, we don't do
That's
that.
that's illegal. But you
Yeah.
know, it'd be interesting if we have a party,
a watch party,
a watch party.
That'd be fun.
or we can film our watch party and people.
We
can-
gotta be selected though. There are some people who have the worst timing because we talked while watching it, and some people aren't.
No,
like,
it's called muting most people and then just having the main cast talk.
Well, some people don't have that skill.
Some
there
people
is-
just get sucked into what they watch.
There is a learned skill to talk while someone's playing. It's true.
It is. No, that's
It's true.
That's true.
It's true.
It is. It's. You want to. I think. You know what's funny? Before we wrap it up, John and I were dead ass quiet the last 20 minutes.
Of the,
We're so
of the
invested.
episode, yeah.
We were so invested in it.
Well, it's because I had to silence Sarah on the side.
That was just the greatest thing because I get it. Like it's the whole series was a joke,
Yeah.
right? And then I think it was the part where Chief gets blasted and he's right about to die.
Yeah.
In the background, you hear Sarah say something really funny, and then John's like, "Sarah, stop! It's getting serious." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, it is getting serious. It's getting good." And I'm like, I never thought we'd get to that point where we're like, you know, joking about it. Because Andy does the same thing. Like sometimes like we're joking about something like that. And she, every time John and I are done, she always is like, so how was Halo? And I'm just like, just a big old sigh. It was like, I mean, John was there. It's the only highlight of that part.
Yeah, basically.
That's it.
That's what I say too.
Bryan was there, you know.
Ask him. So, like,
John, we'd like to thank you for being a part of the show.
yes.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank
No
you
problem.
for, you know, joining us on, I believe it was like a little bit of a short notice because I did tell you like 2 days ago.
When we asked you to ask him a week ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't do anything on Friday nights. I stay home.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. You were a pleasure here making us laugh and hopefully making the
Yes.
audience laugh as well. Do you have any socials or anything you want to plug in or any last minute dad jokes you have in mind?
No last minute dad jokes. No socials. I'm a minimal gridist, which is to say I'm not off the grid. I just don't know how to use half of the stuff that puts you on the grid.
That's fine.
That's
That's
fair.
a job in
That's
its own.
fair, yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, I just thank you for having me. Love talking about this stuff. Definitely got a lot of thoughts on it, you know. So if you ever open up for like a round 2, I'll just blurt, dude. I will go for it.
yeah, definitely.
Hopefully, we'll have you in studio next time.
Oh yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
hopefully. Thank you, John, once again, and we'll kick it back to the original show right now. Nick, I think I killed him, Rene. We might have to do the show without Nick.
I mean, will he be back?
No, I don't know. That's for future Bryan to decide.
Okay.
All right, welcome back, guys. So that was our conversation with John.
Yes.
And, you know, it was great talking Halo, talking about one of the worst shows we've possibly seen. It was great to have Nick's opinion for what it was, even though he was dead ass wrong.
He was
about
wrong.
mostly everything.
wrong.
Why do you sing it that way, dude?
I don't know. Oh, you know what? It's from Scrubs. Dr. Cox, when he talks to JD.
Oh!
Wrong. And it's you know what? Anything that Dr. Cox says, it's just implemented in my mind.
Are
That's
you
where I
Dr.
get.
Cox? Is that why?
I have his sarcasm. That's where I get my sarcasm from.
That's understandable. Well, we've talked Halo, which we are finally glad that it's over for the next couple of months. Can we talk about something that's actually good or kind
interesting?
A little interesting. I wouldn't even say, wrong was the wrong word. Good was the wrong word on that one.
So obviously this week, the She-Hulk Attorney of Law.
Out of nowhere.
At law, or is it Attorney at Law? Yeah, Attorney at Law.
Out of nowhere, too.
Yeah, that's another thing, too.
Like, it wasn't even... Okay, I don't understand... Why does Disney do this kind of stuff? Disney's the only... Disney
just
the only
likes
one?
to be like, hey, remember this?
It's just so weird because it's like I think Disney has been the only culprit to kind of be like, guys, we released a trailer at 2 a.m. What? Why? Guys, we're releasing
internals.
a trailer at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Like 10 something is like some weird time. And it's like it's She-Hulk. And I'm like, oh, that was a show.
That was a thing.
That's right. We got that to look forward
Yeah.
to because we just finished Moon Knight and we got Thor Love and Thunder and then we've got Miss Marvel and now we got She-Hulk this year too.
Yeah, She-Hulk. So in the order from now after Multiverse of Madness, so we have Miss Marvel in June, and then we got Thor Love and Thunder in July, and now She-Hulk in August. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a thing.
that's the lineup. Because this month in May is Obi-Wan Kenobi. So yeah, it's
There's
now
a lot of TV.
Now it's a good time to have
Stranger
Disney Plus.
Things
Stranger Things,
this
which
week.
has been confirmed that part 1 will have 7 episodes.
And part 2 are 2 movies.
Or 2 movies. So it's 9 episodes total in this season, but part 2 of it, I was gonna say issue of episode episode
season.
8 is an hour and a half, hour and 40, while episode 9, the final episode of season 4, will be 2 hours long.
This is interesting.
That's really interesting.
I mean, there's not much to talk about in terms of Stranger Things season 4.
no,
That's why
because
we
we have
haven't
to
mentioned
wait
it.
until
Yeah.
that comes out. Yeah.
Because Stranger Things is such a weird show in the sense that like you can't predict exactly what's going to happen because it's going in a weird direction.
So
it's like
what-
every season's different.
What part are you on upon recording right now? What
I
season-
finished it.
Oh, you finished it.
I finished the
okay,
whole
so
season.
just a quick little thing. What did you think? Did you like season 3?
So we should save that.
Okay.
Yes. Because
Okay.
I feel like this is more of a conversation for our real addictions to take over.
Oh, I see.
You know? Well, no, because technically it's nerdy. So it
It's
should be
nerdy.
ours.
That's a.
Screw you, Adam. We
It's
got
ours.
this. It's ours, you
But
know?
that's the thing is that like, and I told you this when you were started to rewatch it.
Mm-hmm.
You know that season 1 is good. Season 2 is a little bit weird,
And season 3 was my favorite one.
season 3 is the best one because it knows what it is. It knows we've done this. We're gonna have fun in season 3.
So to not prolong this and
Yeah.
make it a Stranger Things talk, they released the first 8 minutes of Stranger Things season 4 today as of recording,
Yeah.
and I watched it and I'm like, this show's going full horror, which is good.
Yes.
It's very cheap horror because it's not really scary, but damn, like it's going full horror.
It's kind of weird because it went that whole like mystery aspect in season 1, then season 2 was like, oh, we're gonna go a little, just like
What's that book series called?
which one?
The Harley Boys?
The Hardy Boys, yeah.
Hardy Boys. That's what it reminded me
Season
of.
2 was Hardy Boys. Season 3 was like, it's the summer, we're gonna have fun.
It's slasher time
Yeah.
kind of thing, yeah.
And then now it seems like it's going towards more darker and like, I don't want to say Lovecraftian, but very in that kind of way
Yeah.
where it's very omnibus, there's an entity out there and stuff like that.
But Stranger Things released those 8 minutes at an appropriate time when traffic was good. Whereas She-Hulk was just like out of nowhere. It's like,
She-Hulk, that was
what
literally
are we doing
a
here?
right hook out of nowhere.
So let's talk about She-Hulk because I think that there is a very excited crowd for this series to come out.
I do have friends that are big. One friend that I have she's a very huge She-Hulk fan. So she's just
Because she's
happy.
an interesting character.
She really is.
Yeah.
That's another thing. And I feel like a lot of people, you ask this, which is fair. You're like, so how is She-Hulk, in acquaintance of Hulk, and
Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner. And she is she's cousins of Bruce Banner as well, too. They are both cousins. And she's also an attorney as well, too.
For superheroes.
For superheroes.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. I'm glad that Marvel is going towards that route where basically the universe is evolving.
Yeah.
They're showing us it's evolving, and now today's superheroes need a lawyer.
Yeah. And because I feel like there's not much to talk about in terms of this trailer because it gave us, it's kind of like the Miss Marvel trailer where it showed us a couple things, but there's really no real lead up to a good assumption of what the show could be about.
It was basically to show you how She-Hulk looks, what the story is somewhat about, and who's in it.
Yes, that's all, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
and
same here.
100% I'm fine with that because let us wait for the show.
Yeah.
Don't get us hype and see how things connect. And I feel like that's kind of a good direction that Marvel's headed towards, or Marvel Studios per se, because we're talking about the MCU. Moon Knight had a lot of allegations in towards of like where it could connect to the MCU, and that was one of its big downfalls because it never really connected to the MCU, right? And Miss Marvel, it kind of does have a direct connection with Captain Marvel, but it seems to not show off a lot of like, yes, this is a full directly connected, series.
It's the same thing as the Netflix shows of Daredevil, where they are aware of characters in the cinematic universe, but we're not going to directly see them, obviously.
Which is fine because it's going to be a show for different folks, and that's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with it. I'm still going to watch Miss Marvel. You're still going to watch Miss Marvel and She-Hulk. Yeah. So what did we get from She-Hulk? Well, we got her transformation. We got how she's going to react to this transformation, how she's going to have to adapt to living with those things. She's going to be training under Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner, obviously.
Smart Hulk.
Professor Hulk.
Yes, Professor Hulk. So we're getting him. And I think the big Easter egg that we saw there was the cage that we saw in Shang-Chi.
Yes, that was Abomination.
Yes.
Yeah, Abomination's cage, where we finally get to see. They also brought back Tim Roth from The Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's another thing that I think people are appreciating with Marvel nowadays is that they are really looking into detail of bringing back characters and looking back and be like, well, who did this and stuff like that. Like the one greatest detail was in Far From Home, where they brought in that Stark employee that Obadiah Stane was actually talking to and made him part of the villain group in Far From Home.
Yes.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's those small tensions or the small bits of detail that they're including on there. Other than that, I don't really see what else in terms of story it's headed towards. There was really no big villain.
Yeah, there's no big reveal villain. I mean, we see Abomination, but it's not told that he is going to be the main villain.
Well, Wong's confirmed.
And he's going to be part of it. So it's kind of interesting to see. Maybe that's what it is that she investigates why. Well, there's footage of Abomination outside playing, doing these things when really he's supposed to be locked up, the whole time.
So do you think that she's going to be like an attorney for Abomination?
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe that could be her first case, or maybe she's investigating it and stuff. Maybe she is against Abomination.
Can we start theorizing where the show might be headed? Because I just thought of something really cool.
Really quick, I do want to say is that the biggest gripe I've been hearing within amongst at least my customers, they had said that they don't like the CGI of her.
No, it looks bad.
It's a TV budget, and it's been told that Marvel is now moving forward. They're not focusing so much on their TV shows. They are more towards going back into the movies now, but they are still continuing certain TV shows, but they're not putting it's not like how the pandemic was, where they just can focus on every single Marvel project now. It's like, oh, okay, we're good. We're going back into the movies.
Yeah, they had their fun. They had their little
fun
break,
with the
little
shows,
hiatus,
yes. But go ahead. What's your theory?
So my theory is this: that if she's an attorney, right, for superheroes, what just got quote unquote reportedly confirmed? Daredevil. So how interesting would it be that? Because here's the thing, and I joked about it in the chat,
I see
right?
what you're gonna go
because
with this,
in the chat, I think Nick was the one that shared it, where he was just like, "Oh, it's reported that the series is back in production, right? That it's gonna be happening for Disney Plus." And I said, so they're reporting about a show that was reportedly supposed to be in production about a year ago.
Yes.
Right? And it's like, yeah, we kind of already knew that Daredevil was going to come back at some point.
Yes.
But now it's like a bigger confirmation, whereas at 70%, it's now at 85% confirmed.
Yeah.
And then today, as of recording, they said that they're going to continue the story. Like, it's more confirmed now that it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's more of like a re-sequel, like a reboot sequel almost in a way, where they are obviously they're gonna give him a new costume that's more comic book accurate. That's what I think that's what
this
they
last
mean.
one was comic book accurate.
I think it's more towards it's brighter red.
Okay.
I think that's what they want, and they want less like Kevlar armor looking stuff.
So we're getting the full on devil look.
I think that's what we're getting, and
latex
really,
devil.
Yeah.
You know, he gets a whip too with the cane.
And that's the thing, and at the same time, they are acknowledging the past seasons. I don't think they are going to continue the story, but they are going to acknowledge what happened with Matt in the past series in Netflix.
I have to finish the last season because I stopped right before Elektra. I stopped with Elektra being introduced.
So basically, because season 2, so like if you had to do the honest watching order for season 2 to season 3 of Daredevil, it's season 1, season 2 of Daredevil, Defenders, then season 3 of Daredevil, because events happen in Defenders bleed into Daredevil season 3.
Okay, so then I might have to rewatch season 3 and then watch Defenders. Is Defenders a good show to watch?
yes and no.
That's all I
if you
need to
want
know.
to, yeah. Honestly, you can just watch a YouTube video of a recap of. I would recommend that. Watch a recap YouTube video for Defenders, then watch season 3 of Daredevil.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. But going back to the whole theory,
Yeah.
I do believe that Charlie Cox will be making an appearance in this one.
That would be cool.
Interesting because they're both technically attorneys.
They're both lawyers.
And was it one of you guys that said, like, why was she not Parker's attorney in No Way Home, and it was Charlie Cox?
Yeah, I think it
Instead.
was because, again, they were planning to do She-Hulk, and they wanted to do that whole big reveal, as giving her own show, I guess. Because that was mentioned in Phase 4. This is Phase 4, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're doing phases anymore.
That's true. I know that in the beginning of the lineup of stuff that were coming out, including the shows, She-Hulk was one of them before No Way Home came out.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know, that's the thing.
They planned it for a while. So
They've been planning it for a while. It would have been
Yeah.
really cool just as, like, she didn't have to be She-Hulk. She could have been, what's her real name? It's like Jessica something. Or Jennifer, I don't know, I'm picturing it right now.
Something like that.
Something like that.
She's like an in and out character in the comic books, which is kind of like why we're not super familiar.
Which is another thing too that they're changing up in She-Hulk is that she's actually she is transformed as.
You just missed it. It's Jennifer W. something.
Let's see.
Go up.
Jennifer Walters.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah, Jennifer Walters is her name. That's the thing. They could have just had Jennifer Walters as Jennifer Walters in here. But in the comic book, she is transformed as She-Hulk, and usually she's trapped.
She stays that way.
She stays that way.
Yeah.
So it looks like, I guess, budget-wise, they're having her go back and forth, but she can't control it.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That brings me to the next point. So, I find one. Let's make this our last point because
we are.
I gotta go check up on Nick again. I don't know if he's doing well. Honestly,
It's been what?
It's been like 15 minutes at this point.
How
so-
much more time until his the brain and his electricity dies out?
I don't know, but I don't want to call an ambulance because then we have to pay for it on no budget.
That's true, on a no budget podcast.
So here's the thing. Man, how can I say this without sounding weird? She was very attractive in this episode. Or in this, not in the episode, but in the trailer.
When she's Hulk.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm just like, what are you?
Death
like,
by snoo snoo. Yes.
That's the literal definition of that.
Death
and
by
I'm
snoo
just
snoo.
like,
that guy's gonna die. I mean, I wouldn't. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest right here. I wouldn't mind if she cradled me too, like that, to the bed. Like,
it's what did I tell you? It's gonna awaken some stuff in people.
it already has. No, Disney's been doing that with Encanto. With Isabella. No,
Yeah,
with
or
Luisa.
Luisa.
And what's another one? It's there was another one that like everyone was kind of like, ooh, like she's buff and stuff. Like, with everyone's been kind of like, what is it? Natalie Portman in the pictures
with Thor.
Yeah, with Thor. Those arms. Showing some arm cleavage right there.
Oh man, there was a lot of look, man.
It's a Disney show too.
It is a Disney show.
There's a lot of like implications in those jokes.
They were not holding back.
Yeah.
The last, like, I would say 15 seconds of that trailer was just like her going on dates and stuff, and then she ends up. What did she say? It's like get the check or something.
Oh yeah. So do you want to get those like cheesy fries to go? Oh no, it goes. Should we order the cheesy fries? And she goes, get them to go.
Yeah, and I was just like, bruh, that's kind of straightforward,
that
dude.
was right.
The
But
last
that's
scene
the
before
thing.
the logo is her carrying him.
So
We're
that's the
assuming in
thing
bedroom.
is that's her character type. She's very straightforward, and I don't want to say she doesn't have a filter, but she's very like.
Is she
when
sexually
she flirts,
active?
she's a flirt. She's definitely a flirt. When she's She-Hulk, she's a flirt. She's a flirt. She's a big flirt.
Are we gonna assume that She-Hulk is just like hormonal rage or something?
No, I'm not gonna say that on camera. I mean, you said it.
Oh my god, dude! Look, man. I'll watch it.
When people when Bruce Banner's Hulk, he has a lot of testosterone, so he's angry. When Jennifer Walters is Hulk,
She's angry.
she's angry, and
all the
let's bring
Hulks are
Nick
just
back.
sexually frustrated. What?
What? Did you hear something? Is he waking up?
He's waking up. All right, give me 1 second. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Are you good? Are you relaxed?
Oh man, what happened?
This is why you don't start things with me.
So the last thing I remember is Bryan asserting his dominance, and then waking up and my butt hurting along with my neck.
Yeah,
What happened?
That's not.
One of those things are true.
You're
It's
right.
not what he thinks he is. It's not what he thinks it
You're
is.
right.
All
My
right.
neck doesn't hurt
If his
that
butt hurts, I'll tell I was like in the
know what?
moment of just kind of like, okay, I have to do a yes and, but I got to be clever.
You know
about
what,
this.
Brian? You know what, Brian? If you ever want to show your dominance again, you let me know.
So I think it's safe to say we're gonna wrap it up here, guys.
Yep. Issue 99 ends
Reaching the
with
rear
Nick
of
and
this
I-
podcast.
Ooh, good play on words. Finally, Nick and I fought. And he's gonna wink at the camera right now, going live.
All right, Nick.
So just a quick reminder, guys. Yeah, don't hold up.
I'm trying to.
Do I gotta
really-
teach you a lesson outside too? No.
No,
And
because-
don't answer that. No, because Nick.
What are we talking about? What? Hold on.
Stop, dude.
All right, I'm ready. Let's go. Take me.
Ladies and gentlemen, issue 99 and Keeping Up with the Nerds. This is what y'all be expecting when we get to issue 100 plus 50.
So where do you want me?
Shut up. Just stop.
I love when you show your dominance.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, year two's going to be fun.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be fun. We need our own space. That's what we got to do. We're going to keep working on that, though. Hopefully.
Year two, when Brian and Nick actually had sex. Now they get along.
It was just a bunch of like hate love they had, you know?
Right?
That's all it was.
now that they had sex,
Yeah.
they both get along with
It was
each
just
other.
sexual frustration. That's
the
all it was.
whole-
That's how it was
all
written.
It all
That's,
was.
that's the journey of year one.
Sexual frustration.
See, this whole show was a play on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but in fact, it was a play on Sex in the City. That's what it was.
Yep.
You know, that's. You're so stupid.
You're more of a Samantha.
I hate you.
Oh, Samantha's hot though.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, thanks. I guess I'm not.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can
Jerk.
you please take off your handcuffs so I can put on mine? One of my favorite episodes of Sex and the City. It's so great. It's literally she's having sex with a dude and she handcuffed him to the bed, and then the cops raid the house, and then they're like, "I'm sorry, ma'am. Can you take off your handcuffs so I can put on mine?"
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on issue 99. You guys can find us on our website at keepingupwiththenerds.com, also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Find us on YouTube. Go subscribe. Hit that notification button. We want to keep bringing in people. If you guys like what you heard here, please share us. Let people know that we exist because we have big plans. Guys, I'm telling you right now, we have the mind of a solid production team. We want to grow, so let people know we exist because honestly, we're good content, I think, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Nick?
What?
I hate you.
Nick.
With that said, am I missing anything?
No, we'll bang it out
That's
later.
pretty much.
Oh my god, dude, stop.
But
You're just so sexually frustrated, dude.
I know.
Stop. And for the last time in the mainline issues here at Keeping Up with the Nerds, Nick, take us away.
Okay, I'm gonna do what the dump truck says.
That's the contact details phone for Brian.
This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds. Issue 98.
99! 99! Start it over!
Why are you so bad? Oh, 99. Okay, so this has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 99. My name is Nick Valero.
Brian.
Rene.
Recording at Undercity Comics in Whittier, California. We want to thank everyone for listening and this issue and hope to see you all